Welcome to the Gospel Road. I know it's been a couple weeks. It's been kind of crazy. It's been a weird January, weird 2019 for me. That's because I've been busy. It happens. All right, so today on the Gospel Road, Psalms 130 is what we're going to look at. And it says, "Out to the depths I cry to you, O Lord. O Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive, the voice of my pleas for mercy. If you, O Lord, should mark iniquities, O Lord, who could stand? But with you there is forgiveness, that you may be feared. I wait for the Lord, my soul awaits, and in his word I hope. My soul waits for the Lord, more than watchmen for the morning, O Israel, hope in the Lord. For the Lord there is steadfast love, and with him a plentiful redemption, and he will redeem Israel for all his iniquities." Psalms 130. And you're thinking, all right, crazy man, how are you going to twist this for me? Yeah, I keep doing this in my little echo chamber here, and one of these days I keep thinking that, I have all these studios that I can use at the different radio stations. When am I actually going to use a studio? But this is kind of fun. It's cozy. I like my caribou. I have to admit it. I'll have to admit that I do. But anyway, I just love doing this. It warms my heart. I'm just in a weird train of thought this morning. It's kind of nuts. My soul waits for the Lord. I mean, we all can be in that waiting period in our life. Personally and professionally, I know for me, I was in a waiting period of not knowing what was going to happen for many years. Not having a full-time job. I now have one. Complete. I will give it 100% to God. It was a God thing. It was no other. It just the way it fell together. But as we're waiting for God, think about how you are using this. Think about how you are being that person. How you give forgiveness. How you listen attentively. How you listen for those pleas of mercy. I mean, we get it, especially if you're at work and you're in management and you're a supervisor. You're going to hear that all the time because somebody messes up. It happens. But how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to, help them do what they did wrong better? Or do you happen to be at a company that, sorry, you're done, you're out? But then again, if people keep doing the same problem over and over and over again, they're just not listening, how do you deal with that too? It's not easy. But there's still that forgiveness. And it's not just the forgiveness, when you're at work, but it's that forgiveness when you're at home with friends, with family. I was recording one of my shifts for this weekend, and one of the conversations that were on the website was forgiveness and freedom. Forgiveness and free. Being free. Because a lot of times when you're holding that in there and not forgiving, it can really confine you. And the biggest part when it comes to forgiveness, it's not forgiving others, it's forgiving me. It's forgiving myself. I know I fought with that for years, and I still have issues with it because things have happened. I've done stuff that I'm not proud of, acted ways that I'm not proud of. And I just keep trying to move forward. But it's having that forgiveness. It's listening. I always love the saying about, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. And of course, I got the job that I use my mouth. Listen more. Talk less. I'm sure it's the paraphrased version, but what is it? One of the ones they took from Proverbs to, be thought of as a fool, but then speak and remove all doubt. I search every day for God, for me. in all aspects of my life. And I know I've got a lot of friends that listen to this and that follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And, some believe the same way I do and some do not, which is okay. I have no issues with that. And we kind of have created that understanding, that harmony that the Bible talks about us living in. And through that, I think they believe that they know where I stand and I know where they do. But we always hear about the faith, hope, and love. Even in Psalm 130, and God has that steadfast love, that unconditional love. And that's that same love that I need to be sharing with others, with coworkers, with friends, with family. Not expecting anything from them. Just being there, helping them when they need it. Being that strong piece for them when, they need an ear, they need some arms. I know I was once called by a friend and said, "Hey, I need you to come move a piano." You're crazy. I got there. Luckily, they found somebody else. I didn't have to, but I've moved enough pianos in my life. Growing up in church, we always had this one piano that, one time they wanted it on the third floor, and then they wanted it back down on the different floor. And going on, you guys know this is not a light thing, and we do not have the right equipment to move this, but we moved it way too many times. As I say every time that I put one of these together, read this and see where it is for you. For me, Psalms 130. So I'm looking at the being attentive, listening for, those pleas of mercy when people are, having issues and they're asking for help and they're going, where do I go? What do I do next? I'm not really sure. And then sharing that unconditional love, forgiving one another. Jesus says, when he was asked, how often should I forgive? And he says 70 times 7. So forgive all the time. Trust me, you're going to forgive more than anyone's ever going to forgive you. It's all part of just opening your heart and being there and helping them. And again, it's helping others be the best that they can be. It's this burning peace in my heart that it says we are called to help and build up one another. However you do that, it doesn't matter. You could be a CPA, you could work at Caribou, you could work at McDonald's, you can work anywhere. You could, be a CEO, you can be in a call center. But it's our purpose, it's our calling to help those around us, to help them be the best that they can be. Professionally, personally, friends, family, it's all that. Just like our kids, help them be the best that they can be. Encourage them. Help them gain the knowledge. Help them gain the wisdom. Help them have the faith and the belief in themselves that they can do something. I will be the first to admit I'm the worst to ever think I can do anything. And people do not believe me when I say that, but it's true. Just because I've been doing radio for many years scares me every time because, I have that little voice in my head going, nobody's listening. Nobody cares. You said something really stupid. They're laughing at you. Oh, yeah, that's a voice that's in my head every day. And I fight it every day. I'm still doing it. Here I am, all these years later. I hear lots of compliments. I'm terrible at accepting compliments. Terrible. Almost to the point that they embarrass me. But at the same time, I'm going to help somebody else, and I'm going to share with them how I think they're doing a great job. And I think they're doing very well, and that they're growing, and they're learning, and they're getting things done the way they need to. Read it. Psalms 130. Where does it apply in your life where you are right now? Because again, we are all in different places in our lives. Some are farther ahead than me. Some are a little more behind me. I am where I am. This is where I am right now. This is where I am today. How does this apply to me today? Because tomorrow, this could apply to me in a different way depending on what happens today and what happens tomorrow. Which is why I always say, read and see what it says to you. I was having a conversation. Actually, I was listening to something and somebody said something which kind of like made me scratch my head. And it just made me remember of what the Bible tells us, that we need to verify Ask questions. Just because, I could say something, I could be completely wrong, which is why I say you read it for yourself. Ronald Reagan said, trust and verify. We need to ask questions. We need to gain knowledge. I ask questions all the time. But at the same time, with asking those questions, I need to verify. And there's been times that I've said something because I thought I heard it and I was probably wrong. And I went back and I verified what I said. And guess what? I probably was wrong, most likely, which is okay. I'm wrong a lot. I spout things off quite a bit because sometimes when you have so many things in your brain, you have no clue. I don't know what's coming out. And I'm like confusing things together. Wait a minute. Am I thinking about this? Am I thinking about that? And they just kind of like mash together. So read that for yourself. Psalm 130. Thank you. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. I know I am so humbled by the downloads and listens that I've seen when I look at my numbers over the many years that I've been doing this. I think it's 10 now that I've been doing this, going on 11. One point, very regular, other times pretty sporadic, depending on my life and schedule, availability. But thank you. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. And I just hope that this is, like I said, even if nobody listened, I would still do this because this just helps me. It really does. It really opens my mind. It opens my heart. And it helps me kind of like get things that are like rolling around in my brain and get them out. But thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have I said that enough yet? Have a great day. God bless.